Are we live? Of course, we're live. Back again with Zar. How you doing, my guy, man? Before we get into what we need to get into,
My brother, it's been a while, man.
has
First things first, I'm grateful I'm alive. That's the most important thing, right? Is that I'm
amen.
alive.
Alhamdulillah.
But on actually how I'm doing, my bro, I've been spiraling. I've been spiraling, my brother. It's this life thing is testing me. Well, not necessarily the whole aspect of life. This one thing in my life is testing me, my brother. And I think you know what that one thing I'm talking about is. Arsenal Football Club.
You've addressed the elephant in the room, man. So let me have it, man. Where you at with Arsenal? Why is it stressing? I mean, it's a blessing if Arsenal's the main thing or football's the main thing stressing us all out. So we have to be thankful. But why is Arsenal stressing you out? Since the last time we spoke, obviously we messed up in the League Cup. We went out to United, bottled the lead against Aston Villa. And the season's crumbling, in my opinion. Mathematically, you can fight for the league, but it's crumbling, man.
That's it. That's it. Right before our eyes, bro. Right before our eyes. And I my problem is it's the belief that kills you. And it's
It's
for
the hope that
once in a
kills in life.
while.
Yep.
Yeah, it's the belief that kills you, man. There was that tough period that we went through when we had squads that weren't all that, and top four was the goal and all that. Yeah, it hurt and all that, but because we weren't really flirting or got close and have it just crumble and taken away, you didn't get that extra pain, and that's what we're getting now, man. That's what we're getting now. I mean, the last 2-3 years under Arteta, looking at it over the long period, it's been fantastic, just building, building, building. And when you're building, 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 it feels like we're getting closer and closer and closer. And right when we in our heads feel like, all right, this is the season, bruh. The first season, people didn't really know what time it was. People didn't expect us to do anything. It happened. We lost Saliba in the run in, and ended up landing second kind of thing. So people are like, all right, on to the next one. We've had that taste of that the title challenge. On to the next
Flirted with
season.
it.
We come close, bro. We lose the title on the last day of the season. So you think you are all right. Third time's the charm, surely. And then this is what happens halfway through this season. It's been brutal, man. And it's to be honest, you know what? Uh, if we're being honest and objective, the problem is when you're in the moment, you don't see it. You don't see it happening because you're emotionally invested and you're so tunnel vision and all that. But now these last 2-3 days, bro, just taking a step back, this mess that we're in, you could see it coming. You could honestly see it coming. It started off with the mismanagement of the Tomiyasu injury, the Tomiyasu recovery. It started off with that, him getting the setback, them bringing him back too early, him getting the setback and going back to square one. And then it's just been an absolute knock on ripple effect from that
Lost
because
so
that
many
Tom,
players. Even lost Saliba now. Obviously, Saka's out. Ethan apparently he's back in training, but everyone's been injured. It would probably make more sense to count the players who have been fit versus
yeah,
injuries.
yeah, I don't think there's been a match day. I don't think there's been a match day when we've had our entire this season. I don't think there's been a match day. You can correct me if I'm wrong, people, but I don't think there's been a match day this entire season where we've had our entire 25, or actually, you know what, 25 is actually being too much. I'll say with the
Probably
bench,
about
18,
13,
the
14,
18, the 18
if
on the
18, if any, yeah.
we haven't had that this season. We've been seeing youth man like Butler Oyedeji, and and Kabai, and them
And
featuring
thank
on
the
the
Lord for Ethan and Lewis Skelly just being here and
Maldini
taking their
Kakuri,
chances. Where would we
Ethan,
be?
Ethan and Skelly. This was not meant to be their breakthrough
Yeah.
season, but because of
They've both had
circumstances,
injuries.
yeah, because of circumstances, now all of a sudden their development is accelerated. There's no more room for loans. Those guys are now first team guys. It's no more, all right, where do we send them on loan to get them first team football? They're now squad members kind of thing. So it's I don't know, man. I don't know. It's the for me, it's the hope that kills me. And it's just each time I wake up and I check in on Arsenal, it just seems like it's just bad news, bad news, bad news. Like, for example, I mean, you know how long an ACL injury is, but you never want to see it. You never want to see the whole thing.
Get well
Just
soon, Gabriel Jesus, man.
just
Nine
before
months
I
at the very minimum.
just before I popped on from you, guess what the last thing I saw was with you? The
What?
last thing I saw was the tweet from the Athletic telling me 9 months I gotta wait for this guy. So it's like
Think
it's honestly it's depressing, my brother. And it's one of those where it's like, all right, let's just get to the end of the season. Let's see where we're at the end of the season. Have I completely given up? Absolutely. Until it's mathematically impossible, I will believe in these guys. But now I am praying for a miracle in at the magnitude of that I have never really prayed for. I mean, where I had my guy Petit on Sky News, Sky Sports News
talking
last
about his
night,
own
Monday
stories.
Night Football, telling me that this it's not impossible. We've done it. We did it in '98. So they can do it, kind of thing. So
Petit, with the greatest of respect to Petit, yeah, and I'm not even trying to criticize my players. You lot, yes, tactics, ability, experience, all of these things play a part in winning trophies and whatnot. You lot were monsters, Petit, and you lot were monsters. I can't say it with Arsenal. Even when we swap, we go past the '90s teams and the Invincibles. Past that point, we haven't won league titles, but I've seen my team go on a run to the Champions League final. And I always think of Real Madrid at that moment where we went there with a makeshift side. I've seen my team a couple of times in my life pull something away at the San Siro, beat, but even under Wenger, beat Bayern Munich and obviously Barcelona at our place.
I say,
I
yeah.
don't think we've got that in us, man. It feels like there's too much margin for errors. Like even in the Aston Villa game, I don't think we're learning lessons. Yeah, we can talk about XG and field tilt and shots and possession. You've got to kill games before they kill you. With 2 goals up, you probably could have scored more. All right, cool. You can't win them 3-4 for me, anyways. Second half, it's all gone down the toilet. 55th minute, you get that second goal. By the 68th minute, you've conceded twice. You can't. And again, these things for me we're talking about them week in, week out, whether they're the specifics or just in general. I think they're highlighted by injuries. And I want to ask you this: like, I'm pretty sure you and every Arsenal fan, right? If we assume everybody's fit, first question, do we have a big enough squad for you? If everyone's
If
fit, none of these
everyone is
ACLs, all
fit,
of this, everybody's fit. Like whether we rate them or not, everybody that's contracted to this club, do we have
do
a
we
big
have a
enough
big
squad?
enough squad? Yes. Yeah,
You
because
reckon?
what you I mean, I've seen City, I've seen Guardiola do it with 15. That's what you
True.
need in essence. It's
Do
so
we
do we
even
have
have
a big enough
15 though?
so with that we have a big enough squad, but now you're taking a gamble on injuries.
Right. That's where I'm
S-
gonna go to next.
that's what it is do we have a big enough squad? Absolutely. However, when you go on the smaller end, when you go on the smaller side of the squad, you take a gamble with injury. I think our issue is not necessarily so squad numbers wise. We have a big enough squad. Our problem is the allocation of our squad isn't balanced. Our squad is
Yeah,
very
that. I'd say quality as well.
like for example, bro, so we say that 18 players, right? 18 players. We have three guys to play right back, three guys to play left back,
But
two,
stock
three, four
defensively,
guys.
we're lightweight in other areas, 100%.
That's the problem. That is the problem, is that we have the bodies, but we have too many bodies in the one area. And then it just so happens that in that one area, five of the bodies, how many bodies are down? Four or five bodies are down in that one area in
And then
defense.
you have
What
to
we have
move
with
other players out of one area into others. It becomes square pegs in round holes, and it,
and
it, it exacerbates the injury. I mean, the issues we already have through
that
open
is
play and chances and the rest of it.
that's the knock-on effect I'm talking about. The mismanagement of Tomiyasu's recovery has led to Thomas Partey playing right back.
And you've also got
That is the
Timber and
problem right
Calafiori
there.
who've had knocks as well.
Calafiori,
And
I
Ben
don't.
White is obviously having surgery. But I only asked you
No,
that to
but the
ask
Ben
you
White,
this.
the Ben White thing is known. The Ben White thing was scheduled. The
That's why I
Ben
want to
White thing
ask
was
you. This
scheduled
is
and
why I
known.
got something to ask you because of what you just alluded to. Surely, when we finish that summer market, regardless of if we tried, we spent money, whatever, surely I'm not saying they knew there'd be injuries or whatever, but surely you signed up for this. Surely, if you know it's going to rain and you don't buy an umbrella and a jacket and look at the forecast, surely when it starts peeing buckets and you're outside in shorts and flip flops, surely you have to hold that. Because I look at that summer, bro. Like you said earlier, we finished 2 points off of City. I don't feel we got the added quality we needed. I don't feel we got stocked, whether it's in terms of bodies or like you're alluding to in the right areas. We didn't do it. And since the start of the season, there's been injuries. There's been Partey right back. This one's centre half. This one's back now. He's not the Tomiyasu thing you alluded to. And we find ourselves in January now, still in a worse place with all the injuries. Obviously, we're crying for signings. Where's our sporting director? That's why I asked you. Is the
Yeah,
issues from the summer to now? Like, did we sign up for this when we came out of that market, not doing what we needed to do?
we have issues everywhere in this football club. And that is what is stressing me. That is what is stressing me, Deluded. We have issues on the field and off the field. Unlike City, for example, has issues on the field. Off the field, they don't. They off the field stuff is now rectifying the on the field. Look at that. They just banged out what 250 million in like 4 or 5 days.
Haaland
Bro,
got a 9-year deal. I mean, the only
it's
off-field issues is the charges, but with the money they're spending,
yeah,
you could argue they're going to beat that case.
that's what
If
I'm
I'm
saying.
honest.
Let me tell you something. Them charges have never been an issue. With the money they have, when you have $300 billion, bro, lawsuits are never an issue. They're never an issue. You can get that. You can get that fixed with money, and that will
Yeah,
go away.
yeah.
And
Pay a
and
couple
that's
judges, you're gone.
that's our problem. Is that who's doing anything? Who do I scream? Who do I and all of a sudden at the end of it, at the end of the day, it falls on the owner, because you are responsible for everything that happens in the club. Who do I go to for signings, right? We did this whole change of structure thing when we started bringing in Edu, the Sanelli and stuff. Venga was a one-man machine. We're like, no, we don't like that
We have
system. let's
listening
now
chat for a second. We've had a couple people.
let's now do this. All right, so okay, now we've got the new structure, bro. We just lost two of our most important players right now, are out right now. Bukayo Saka, Saliba's out. I'm hearing Saliba could be out for a month, right?
They're saying
Two
he
of
could miss
our
the City game, man. Woof.
yeah, yeah. It's like two of our guys. The thing, who do I moan to?
And
Who
God
do I
forbid,
look
this is
to?
assuming no one else gets injured as well. Bear in mind, Declan Rice has even had a broken toe. Timbers had stuff. Gabriel's had stuff. The whole
The
team
whole
has had
team,
something.
bro. The whole team. We
The
haven't
whole
had a
team.
fit squad
It's
for
madness.
a single game week. It's
Two of
fucking
our three,
crazy.
in fact, all three summer signings,
All of the
apart from
signings.
four, three of the four have
Marino
been
was
injured.
injured before he kicked the ball.
Yeah,
Calafiori, we
Sterling's
haven't
had
even
knocks.
seen. Sterling,
Calafiori
don't
continuously
even
getting
get me
knocks.
going about Sterling. Sterling might be the worst deal that we've ever done. That guy hasn't contributed
Damn,
anything. He
damn.
really hasn't contributed anything. I'm sorry. I'm hot. This is what I'm
No,
talking
no,
about.
no.
I've
I'm
been
just saying it's a
spiraling.
damning verdict. Go on, go
It's
on.
it's just it's so frustrating. And who do I look at? They're telling me, I don't know if you see the book, I don't know if you see the BS, the New York Times, right? The New York Times wrote a Bible length article telling me this guy Jason Ayton, the guy that's taken over from Edu, he was his assistant. This guy is the greatest thing since sliced bread. Brother, greatest thing since sliced bread. We haven't gotten a single freaking signing, and you're writing an article about this guy being great.
And
What
this
does
is
the
his
sporting
first job
what
of
does
this
the sporting
magnitude as
director
well.
do?
Everyone's got to
Transfers. That's
start
what you
somewhere,
charge for.
but yeah, this is way too obviously if they believe in him, great, but this is way too of a bigger job. Now they might say, well, once upon a time people said it's too big of a job for Arteta, which you could caveat that and say that. So we're gonna have to see. For me, I don't know, and I don't want to write off anything, but it felt like we're linked with experienced, fairly household name sporting directors. The initial talk around Jason Ito in the Athletic and all of these things were saying the club don't think he's got experience, and then they flipped it kind of what to you're saying.
Yeah.
He's
Oh,
growing
he's
in reputation,
great,
so that
great
tells
thing.
me that maybe whatever you want, you're not able to get that, or I don't know, maybe because we're linked with the Sociedad guy, who I believe is departing at the end of the season. Does he want to leave right now? I don't know. I did want to ask you though, yeah, like
Do we even have that? We don't even have that one done.
this is what I'm talking about. Even Zubamendi as well. I did want to ask you though, like how much of this is down to Arteta then? Because I hear what you're saying about if you own a business, it's all your fault. But Mikel Arteta's had money and he's not necessarily spent it. And you could argue other managers could have done, could at the very least not have these certain conversations really, because he's allowed to keep buying in certain positions, and he spent 65 million on Havertz and was still in that issue a couple of years later. Even though I don't think Havertz deserves to be attacked, just the fundamental thing is that A, we need a striker. Two, if you name your strongest 11, does Kai Havertz start a midfielder up front? If he does, fair enough. I think he doesn't for many fans. So how much is down to Mikel, man?
So and that's the thing, right? Is the on-field stuff. The on-field stuff is very easy to judge. Like for example, what I wanna for is the Partey thing. The Partey at right back thing, bro. People abused me. I said it as a joke initially, like 2 3 weeks ago, and people went nuts on Twitter. You know how Twitter is.
You
I
know
was
how
like,
Twitter
bro,
is, bro. Come on, man.
it don't matter. It don't matter it doesn't matter. Don't move Partey there. Play the under 18 right back if you have to. Then people are like, oh, you want to play a UT player there. Brother, the guy doesn't have instincts to defend. He doesn't.
Defensive awareness is
You
on the
need
was
you
on the
need the
floor against
instincts
Villa.
to do that. The guy is crossing the ball. Who whipped in that ball for the second goal? I forgot for the Watkins one. I
I
forgot
can
who it
only
was
remember
that whipped
Luka
in the
Dean's,
ball.
man.
It
I've
was Luka Digne.
exited
It
it
was
from
Luka.
my
It was
mind.
Luka Digne whipping it in. I think it might
I,
have been
I
him whipping
exit
it.
I exited it out of that. I think I've removed that game out of my mind, man.
He's whipping the ball in. Partey, instead of staying with the defensive line, is moving forward like his instinct would, because he's a central midfielder, to go into the central midfield, to go into the central midfield channel, the central midfield zone where he's comfortable being. That's his instinctual being as a footballer, because that's where he plays. That's on Arteta. Why do you keep playing him right
Because he
back?
was doing that last year when there wasn't injuries there. So that's something Arteta wants to do.
Yeah, so that's on him. It doesn't work. We've seen it every single game that
Could have
he's
had Rice
played
centre
on there.
back
Look at the
and
stats.
and someone else at right back
You
being
just have to
devil's
look at the
advocate.
stats. Look at how many games, look at how many points we've dropped. Maybe so that might be harsh in saying that's the only thing that contributed to us contributing, but you can't ignore the fact that when Partey plays in right back, we drop
It's
points.
like we got
So
one
that's
issue and we create others trying to fix one issue. So we create like three,
exactly.
four others. It's a bit mad.
Exactly. So that's the on-field issue I have with him. Off the field is where I don't know. That's where so by off the field I mean the signings thing, right? So because I was led to believe, and this is what I'm trying to figure out, what the frick is going on at this football club. I was led to believe that when Wenger left, the structure of how we do business transfer wise had changed, right? There are now more people involved in the, before, when Wenger was there, Wenger
Facts.
had the final say. He did it all, with the scouts. Of course, he's not doing all the work, but he had the final say, the scouts and all that. Then we changed the system to go from the one man doing everything, the coach doing everything, to then Arteta's title was even changed initially when he started. He was head
Head,
coach,
he was
not
head
manager,
coach. It's only
not manager.
recently he's become manager,
Man,
arguably.
and now, so with that change of title to become manager, have now the transfer responsibility fallen on him, because when they changed the system, it seemed like Eddie was the one that was running things. You could
Do
see
you,
you
do you
could
think
see
we're
by the
back in the
players that
Wenger
were
stage then? Because like when you hear it, you hear Arteta. Even when Arteta, you look at Calafiori, Raya. When we got rid of Aubameyang, which fair enough was at a different time. Moreno, we see in the Athletic and all these articles, and I mentioned the Athletic because obviously David Ornstein, and that's a bit of insight, right? They always mention that these players, not everybody necessarily agreed on these guys. Mikel Arteta's obviously pushed it. And then I look at the goalkeeping coach. And I only mention the goalkeeping coach because around goalkeepers, you keep hearing in these same articles, Inaki Kanya wanted this one, that one. Now, obviously, Inaki Kanya is Mikel Arteta's guy. So do you feel we've gone back to Wenger essentially? I know it looks different, but it's like one man's voice kind of overrules everything.
I would, if you had asked me this question 2 weeks prior. How long has the transfer window been open? 2 weeks prior, however long the
Too
transfer
long,
window
mate.
has
It's
been open.
21st of January. We still ain't got
If
no one.
you had asked me this question in December, I would have said 10,000% Mikel Arteta's in charge. Look at. I mean, as you alluded to, he said maybe it was a collaborative. Maybe it's a collaborative thing, right? To identify the profiles, identify the player, but he's had the final say on a lot of these signings, and it's gone that way. So that insinuates that Mikel Arteta has been charged. You talked about the Sterling one. He worked at Sterling. The Havertz one. He's the one that greenlit. Which other signings?
Yeah, I mean, I'm
Pretty
cool with
much
Calafiori, but you could say was a left back a priority. Obviously,
Arteta
everyone's
greenlit.
going to be a genius in hindsight, but Lewis Skelly's there now and whatnot. Is Moreno a level raiser? I'm not even saying Moreno's not needed, but is he a level raiser? Like,
He's a
I,
passenger, bro.
yeah, I did expect
So
a lot more from him, man. I didn't think the world of him, and I got a lot of heat for saying he's a squad player at best. And if we accept him for that, cool. What I would say to Moreno is I needed a bit more impact in your own way. Like even Francis Coquelin, he wasn't anything to write home about at
yeah.
Arsenal. There was significantly more impact.
But when
You
he
fit
came
in,
back
but you
from
don't
that
stand
loan,
out.
where had he gone? I think it was Charlton, I
Charlton or
believe. He
something.
had gone back to Charlton.
Yeah,
He impacted that
there
back
was
half of that
fire in his
season.
belly. Last time we won at the Etihad, he was partnered with Santi
Yeah,
Cazorla. You couldn't say either player would have been needed now, man.
yeah. No, but so before, if you had asked me, before the opening of the window, if you had asked me, I would have said that Arteta's in charge. But now, if you ask me today, based off his press conferences, bro, he has hinted. He has hinted in every single one of his
Yeah, his
pressers
language has
that
changed a lot.
he needs bodies. He needs bodies. We need bodies and all that. And if if he's the guy that's in charge, and we have money and all that, why hasn't the trigger been pulled?
Why hasn't it been pulled for you,
So
man?
that
Obviously, I'm not
kind of
expecting you
tells me
to answer it.
that tells me that maybe this guy maybe isn't fully in charge. Yeah, okay. When the player's been identified, the profile's been identified, and we're at the final stages, he has the final say. However, does he have the power? That does he have the transfer power that we all think he has? It doesn't look like it.
We don't
It
know, man. I wish I
unless
was a fly on the wall.
unless he's talking out this side of his mouth, and acting like the way this side of his mouth is talking.
I think
Unless he's doing
that's there's an element of that with Mikel Arteta, if I'm honest with you, purely because you're never gonna badmouth your employers. You're never going to. Like, I'm sure if we was his friends or his family, he might allude to things a bit differently. I think it's a bit PR-y. I do
so
agree with you in that last
I
few
can
weeks, he's been very specific on needing
I
players.
can get that with the lineups, being coy with the lineups and all that, but like with the signings, yeah, you're not gonna throw the owners under the bus, but
Especially if they're just giving you a 15
bro,
million a year contract or something like that.
see,
3 years, bro.
that's the thing. That's also the other thing, is that he
Because
just
there
signed a
is
new
that
contract
side. Like,
paid.
we got to be real, Zara. As much as because I think I can criticize Arteta, but I think you want to win a title. I think the Cronkies are happy with Champions League. They'd love to win a title, but then everybody can't be blamed for everything. But someone's got to soldier everything. And let's be real, Zara. It's a relationship of convenience. He's managing a massive club in Arsenal, got to learn a lot, learned in his trade. As long as you get the Champions League, the Cronkies are cool with that. He could have been sacked for back-to-back eight. So to a degree, it is a bit of a relationship of convenience where we have our manager and the club, man. Slyly.
Yeah, it's we're in that tough spot because the Cronkies are happy. The Cronkies,
They're cool.
as long as we make the Champions League positions, the as long as we make top four, the Cronkies are so happy, bro. Because guess what? That stadium, no matter the times, right? I mean, you may see the blue when you go now. You may see on the ticket exchange. You may see all blues and all that, but those tickets have already been sold. Those are people trying to resell. That stadium will sell out no matter what. They're trying to add even more seats to sell us more of this stuff, and all
And
that.
look at
And
the
that's
merchandise coming out week in, week out.
the Cronkies are
Very
over
nice
here.
merch.
Let me tell you something. That too. We get a new track. I got a new track, bro. I got a new winter jacket right here, Deluded, right hot off the presser. Hot off the presser. Thank you to the Cronkies. The new one that it literally dropped like a week ago. The
The stuff
Stadium
they make
Parker.
is
There you
nice, man.
see
I
it.
can't lie, it's
There,
all
bro.
hits.
New merch. We're buying. We're suckers. All that nonsense, bro. They're happy. They're happy. They're happy. And
It's a
it's
cult,
not
man.
until they're egomaniacs. It's not until we
As
start
all
mentioning
billionaires
their
must be.
names. It's not until we start mentioning their names that they will respond. If we right now they're happy. We're going after Arteta. People are seeing the stuff that's happening. Arteta, you change the thing to Josh Kroenke out. You'll see him flying. He'll be in the stands next game, waving to people. I
They
haven't
might have
seen him
even
the entire
realized
season.
the tide was turning because I'm sure I could be wrong. The North London derby, I think Josh was there. Like, if I
I
remember
didn't see him.
correctly.
I didn't see him. I saw the tweet. I didn't see no actual
Neither did
evidence
I
of
when
him
I was
being there.
watching it, but
He
like
wasn't there.
people in my chat said he was.
He
So I'll take the
leaked.
word for it.
That was when they leaked the Zubamendi. That was right after they leaked the news. The what had happened that they had to leak the Zubamendi news? I
We were
forgot. We'd
dissing
lost.
we was briefed on stuff that we're gonna do in the summer. Clearly, we was losing, and then
Yeah,
if I remember correctly, Romano, Ornstein, Sammy. I think Sammy Mokbel was first, but all three of them spoke about Zubamendi, and even that, and maybe not to my knowledge, but as much as I'm happy about that, I don't see him wearing an Arsenal shirt, holding an Arsenal shirt, officially confirmed on Arsenal.com. So is it done? Maybe.
they
As I said, I wish I was a fly on the wall, but I'm just an
they
honest fan
leaked
looking at what I see.
that was a coordinated thing. They leaked the transfer news because it was right
100%.
after the
There's
United. It
no
was right after the
coincidences
United
here.
lost. They leaked the news, and then they also leaked the fact that Kroenke was going to be there when he wasn't. So it's
See,
I don't know, man. I'm sick of these owners. I'm sick of these owners. They're the ones I have the beef. If you follow me on Twitter, you can see that they're the ones that I have the biggest beef with because these guys have been buying shares since 2007, and they have no Premier League title to show. It's just
yeah, yeah.
it's frustrating, bro. It's frustrating. I don't know where I don't even know where we go because if we punt, and that's the thing, right, is that you got to capitalize in every single situation that you're in, because if we punt it now, if we say, all right, it's done, we messed up, right, we're in this position where we're 6 points off Liverpool right now, halfway through, a little after halfway through the season. It's done. Let's give up, shut it down.
He's got 12 points from winning position so far this season.
Let's go again. Let's go again next year, next season. Guess what? City's already started retooling. They've already started retooling for next season. Everyone else, and that's the thing, is that everyone else isn't staying static. United's going to be back. That's going to be a preseason. That's going to be a preseason for a competent coach that he gets to work with the players. I mean, United has money, so I'm guessing there's going to be a lot of ins and outs
Yeah,
this
they got
summer
to
for
flog a
them and
lot
all.
and bring a lot in. Yeah,
So it's
as
it's
you said,
it's
competent manager now, not like Ten Hag.
it's stuff like that, bro, that if we don't capitalize now, which the Cronkies don't seem like they do, because these guys, what they do is they map out 5 years, they map out a 5 year plan, and then no matter what happens within that 5 year plan, we stick to that plan. So maybe year two in that 5 year, oh, we somehow and it'll end up in a title race. We're in January, we're 1 point off the top. We don't have a striker. That's year two into that thing, but according to the 5 year plan, we're meant to buy a
An
striker in year
intern
four.
sporting director as well. It don't look good. And bearing in mind, Saliba,
It's
Gabriel, Saka got 2 years left on their deals from the summer, so there's a lot for them to do. To be fair, though, to be devil's advocate, I hear your point because I actually think the Cronkies
how
deserve
are
a
you
lot of the
feeling? How are you? I've been doing a lot of the ranting here. I
I'll
actually
be
I
no,
actually want
no.
to hear.
That's why
I know you
that's why
hear how
you're
you
here, man. I
the
like.
month.
It's nice to hear someone else's thoughts. For me, I personally think everyone's to blame. Like I wish I was a fly on the wall. I think everyone's to blame. I share your point about how long the Cronkies have owned us. Looking at what they're doing in your country in America versus here with their actual clubs. Like when they actually care about a club, you can see what else. I just think you're on brand with it, especially the point you made. Yeah, anyone that's a business owner or whatever, they understand that indirectly everything for you as an owner is your fault. The mentality goes down, right? So I think you're there. I do think it's multifaceted because I do think you could criticize the Cronkies general lack of investment of their own money. But then I think if I genuinely was sat there next to them like now, bro, they could turn around rightly so and say to me, we've backed Arteta. Bearing in mind, we wanted him like there's so many things. We wanted him the first year when Emre was gaffer. He was an interim manager. We took him. We kept him when he was back to back eighth. We allowed him to rip up contracts and then rip up several other contracts. We've allowed him to buy as many goalies, as many left backs, as many centre mids,
You brought
break
up
our
a
transfer record and play a world class, top class number six as an eight. They've backed him, bro. Spend 65 million on Kai. That's why I think it's multifaceted because if they turn around and say to me, he's saying he wants the same positions, but we back him. We've also given him a new deal after finishing 12, back-to-back second. If I say they don't back Arteta, and they turn around and say to me, hang on, we have. And then if they also say to me, did we not back him last year? Are we the reason you lot finished 2 points off of City? Fair enough. I'll even discount the first year because nobody expected that. I could say, you know what, I hear that, which is for me, is everyone to blame because I think if you want to be a Premier League winning club, this is where I'm going back to the Cronkies. I think you look at you finished 2 points off City. The Champions League, you gave a good account of yourself, but you didn't get over the line. There's no way you leave that summer window still talking, like you said, about a striker, about a winger, about centre mid, about depth. Did we look like we've capitalized on the small and fine margins? No. Then I look at Mikel Arteta and I think because you kind of indirectly are allowed to make failures and you know that as long as it doesn't go too south, you can kind of stay. I think a manager with proper pressure doesn't sign Kai Havertz 2, 3 years ago. Not because he's a bad player, but I need something else. I need a striker that's going to fit that build. I need an eight that's going to fit that build. I'm cool with Calafiori, but you could argue, did you need to sign another left back? Where the priorities are probably a striker and a winger. Did you need to sign Moreno? Priority is in midfield, but is he a level raiser? He's a squad player. He's not pushing Partey or Rice. Could you have waited a year? Bearing in mind he had a year left on his deal. We also spent a time flapping around for a goalkeeper. That Garcia lad, they wanted to spend 20 odd million on him.
oh
I,
the
I
Javi Garcia.
yeah, or whatever his name is. Like, why if you're working with a limited budget, why are you going to do all of that? Now, I sympathize with Arteta because I don't think you wanted Raheem Sterling. I think we can, yeah, you worked with him and all of that jazz, but you look at the minutes, you never wanted him. But can you just sit there and blame Arteta?
And how do we get
And look at
into
the
that position?
coaching front, bro.
How do we, bro? The window is a month long. How do we get ourselves? No, wait. Sterling was summer. The window is 3 months long. How the hell
Deadline
do
day.
we get
Two signings
ourselves?
rocked up on deadline day.
How do we get ourselves in that position where you're forced to buy a player you don't want on deadline day?
So that's what I mean. It's incompetence from I think that is now incompetence on Edu and his team, Mikel Arteta and his team. Because again, whether I rate the Cronkies or not, I've blamed them for what I need to blame for them. Then I kind of have to understand how they operate. In their minds, they put the people in place from top to bottom, and they kind of leave you to your own devices. Now, granted, I'm not watching NFA, NBA, NFL, all of these kind of things. But for some reason, within these remits, them and they're achieving stuff. I know they put more money into that, but they're achieving stuff. What's going on here? And I just think, has Mikel Arteta controlled all the controllables he can control? No, I don't even think it's as white and black as you sign a striker and winger and we're better. It makes the world of a difference. But look at the open play. They're not coaching us.
So here in the States, why they're so here it's a little bit different. Their revenue sharing structure is different. They know at the beginning of the season, they know how much money is coming in. They share. They have a guarantee. They get the TV money. They split it equally amongst the teams and all that. And then the draft system, they don't have to work. I feel like over here, you got to work for your money. If the team is doing whack, if the team is doing terrible, you don't get paid that much, right? If
Apart
if
from the
if you if
TV,
you
the Premier League's a bit different now because obviously the TV rights money. We live in a day and age.
they share it now. They
Yeah,
share the
Bournemouth and AC Milan can go toe to toe for players, but generally you are right.
really.
You have to earn your own money, and it can, and that's why you get into situations to a degree like Newcastle. I'd say Nottingham Forest, where you've got PSR and FFP, and to a degree you have to sit there and, in my opinion, say F it, let's break it
And
and
then
keep it
again,
moving
guess who the
because it stops
first
the smaller
people?
teams from elevating and kind of designed, in my opinion, to keep. I would say us. City, Chelsea, Man United, Liverpool, to a degree, Spurs, kind of keeping them at the top, if that makes sense.
Uh,
That's why they're all on the Super League, bro.
guess who?
You
Guess
give it to
who?
them.
Guess who? The first person to endorse every single one of these new PSR rules. The brother cannot wait. He literally sprints to the headquarters to go sign that paper. Josh Kroenke, bro, and
Because
that
they
is
love
what
the
that
self-sustaining
that
model, which I'm not
that
necessarily
is
against, but
that's
we don't
that's
want to
what they
be
sell you
winners.
on. That's what they sell you on. Oh,
Yeah.
it's self-sustaining. This is healthy business. We want a club where it can look after itself and all that. Brother, you don't want to spend. You don't want to spend. That's why you're signing that paper. Do not lie to me. That's what I hate. I hate. Just shoot me straight. If you were to shoot me straight and say that I am signing this to limit my thingy, I'll respect you a whole lot more. Yeah, I'll be fuming, but I'll get
But you
over it
told
like
you
in
told
two
me what it is
in
now.
2 minutes. In 2 minutes, I'll get over it. I'll be fuming, boom, and we move on. But when you start telling me BS like this is so the club is healthy, this is for your benefit as fans. Bro, I am freaking stressed right now. I am stressed. I'm losing my mind, bro. It's I'm getting everyone everyone I
If
see
you
is
don't laugh,
asking
we'll cry, man.
everyone's asking me. I go anyway. Everyone's asking me, yo, what's going on with Arsenal? What's going on with Arsenal? Bro, I want to talk about all the things in life, not just freaking Arsenal full
Oh,
time
I
when I see people,
believe
bro.
you,
It's
bro. I'm
it's
the same.
it's and this is the stuff that they don't see in their freaking cozy ass ranch in Texas or in LA or in his billionaire row in Tribeca in his apartment. Josh has an apartment in New York City over there that he goes to and all. This is what they don't see, and they think that everything is fine. It's crazy. I have a question for you because I've seen this I've seen this narrative online. It's for the fans, the rival fans always push it to make fun of us. That 700, and you brought up a very good point that I didn't in consideration of them backing Arteta, right? So the one thing that people hop on is the 700 million spent. I had forgotten about the cancellation of contracts. So like the Obamayans, the Urzils, and all that. That costs
Enough
money
of
too.
them, man. I'm sure
That
even
costs money.
Willian and that.
The 700 thing, are you letting them off the hook?
No,
Have
not
the
really.
Cronkies
No,
backed Arteta? Because that's what the rival fans say, and I
no,
point that.
no. It's a weird one because I can look at the seven, and this is where you could blame the Cronkies. I'm in no position to tell them how to spend, but that 700 million is dwarfed by a lot of what the other clubs are doing. So yeah, we've spent that. People have spent peas. My issue is yeah, there's teams that haven't necessarily succeeded more than us, Brighton, etc., etc. But they're getting more value for money. Now that 700 million is obviously some needed to be spent more than others. Obviously, we had to go, we had to strip the whole thing back. I give them that. For me, it's in the last 3 seasons, including now the last two, that I've now started to watch what you're doing with the money. Because you lot tell me about maximizing windows and fine margins. This is where I have problems with Mikel Arteta because I feel the Cronkies and where Arteta's recruitment is, and what all the questions I have. we have enough to be a team that can just get Champions League, be in the Champions League, like quote unquote challenge. We won't get over the line, but we'll enjoy the ride. You see, if you're now looking to win titles, the questions now need answering. Questions around squad depth, about how good are we at our worst, about how many different ways we have to play. Forget all the Kai Havertz dropping deep and stuff. Is he going to get X amount of goals? Who's putting up Saka's numbers? Who's putting up half of Saka's numbers? Who can be rotated in when the Odegaard's out of form or the Benjamin White and Saka have nots? Because we've been saying that for years. This is where I'm looking at Arteta harshly. And yeah, I know he's learning on the job. And I get that. It takes a while. But at the same time, bro, you've managed enough. Like, yeah, you might be inexperienced, but you've managed enough. You've had 2 years fighting for a title to see defined margins. You've worked at City. Fair enough, you weren't the manager, but you saw what is required. I know people can laugh,
He was
but
there
you've
every
won a
day.
league title as a player at Rangers in Scotland. So you know about, fair enough, it wasn't the same and it's not the same league in that, but you know about winning titles. And I just feel you've taken players that are okay for the squad and you're trying to make them regulars. We don't know what we're going to get our worst. And look at half our attacking players. Ability is one thing, but throughout a 38 game season, just like in last season, Trossard, Havertz, Martinelli, whether it's for half a year, 5 games, 10 games, they're going to show you ability. Saka's the only one. Jesus as well.
For the
Saka's the only
season.
one you can say
Where is
from
Odegaard
the
this year?
start to the end. Huh?
Where is Odegaard this year? Our captain.
I,
This
I
is the
don't I don't know
club
what's
captain.
going on with
This is the
Odegaard, man.
club captain. Where is he this year?
This is the problem with it. This is the problem with everyone. Like, not a single player is doing what I need to do, and that's why I've gone past the point of I'll critique and whatever individually, but it's a collective. Can I say I believe wholeheartedly in the Cronkies? No. Do I believe wholeheartedly in Mikel Arteta? I think you do some good, but no. Do I believe in the whole group of players? Keyword whole group? No. There's a couple of individuals, and it's probably damning on the more experienced ones. Lewis Skelly's been in the team 2 minutes. I think he gets what I want to see a lot more. Ethan the same. Obviously, Saka's the star boy. I've got a lot more time for half of our defensive-minded players, the Gabriels, the Rices. I know he's not flavor of the month, but Calafiori, Timber, White, everyone but Kivior, Zinchenko. And to be fair, Kivio's played a minor point. I like Rice.
I like Kiwi.
Odegaard needs to show me a bit more, but I believe in him. But then that's for a team that's like I said 13, 14. You said I think as high as 18. We're saying that about 7 players max. There's 38 Premier League games. We want to compete in 4 competitions. The maths don't maths, bro.
Here's the reality of the situation, Deluded, and even I don't want to accept this. I don't want to accept this myself from and even I was about to say from the 6th position up, even that 6th position, Arteta's taking the piss. He keeps who are you going to play? Are you going to play Rice? Are you going to play Partey? Are you going to play Marino? It's like he keeps tooling around.
Because he invents that's why I say you can't just blame the Cronkies, bro, because there are some problems in spite of him, but he creates his own downfall at times. He's creating his own problems. That's where I'm at with Arteta.
From the six up. From the 6th position up, so wing 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11 and all that. We just haven't been good enough. It's
And you have to score
literally
goals to
6
win games,
down.
bro.
The defensive mid and our back line has been
And your defense can only say, as they were prior, I'd say probably prior to around the last time we did a video, ironically, to now, our defense was bailing us out, not just in terms of keeping balls at the back of the net, but scoring. But there's only so long before they drop a level. And you're seeing it. Exactly.
Gabriel. How many goals has that guy scored? I mean, I give him even that own goal. That's his goal. He made that goal.
Yeah.
Like how many goals?
We're doing madness. I can't lie. We're doing madness.
And that's the most frustrating part about it, Deluded, is in a season where this has been happening since the beginning of the season. Odegaard went out. That was the first international break. Before that, was it the red cards? The red cards was before that. When was the Brighton? Bournemouth was after the international break when Saliba got the red card.
Yeah, Brighton was Brighton at home was fairly early in the season.
The Brighton and I think Odegaard might have still been there, but I don't know that. But it's been all this bullshit, and yet we're 6 points off, and they don't even want to. They don't even want to do anything.
That's what annoys me.
They don't even want to do anything.
That's what annoys me, Zar, because again, we've dropped 12 points from winning positions this season. But to say that, there's several other good statistics. They're in isolation. There's a positive, and we're still, in my opinion, we're saying the same things after we finished second the last couple of years that we were saying many years ago. Show me there's been progress, but I'm past the stage of necessarily caring about progress. It's about
That's
getting
why the
over the
owners.
line.
That's why the
And
owners
we're
have
not,
to
and
go.
we're not doing that. We're almost so close, but so far. We spoke about fine margins because that's what makes the difference. Against Bayern Munich, it was fine margins. We've shown we can compete across 90 minutes, but it's the one or two moments that create the narrative. We were the better team against Aston Villa, but at the end of the day, you gave
Every
them two
single one of those
chances, and what
games
happened?
that we dropped points, bro. All
We're
those games
never
that
on
we
the right
drew.
side of those small margins. I'll be real with you. We're never, like, we always talk about we need, like, our manager, he always says we need luck and things like that. We're never killing games. If you killed off the Aston Villa game, I might cry about, conceding 2 goals, but you got the 3 points. If you killed the Brighton game in the first half, I might cry about a dodgy penalty. You killed the game off. We're never on the right side of that complaining, really. And this is where I'm
Liverpool.
at. We can't keep doing the woe is me thing. So my last question for you, Arden, would be, man, out of 10, how confident are you about a summer signing? January signing. Apologies. I was gonna get you mad. Yeah,
A
January
January
signing. We are the
signing.
21st of January. See, I'm already gearing towards the summer.
January signing. How confident am I, Deluded?
Give
How
us a number
confident
out of
am I?
10.
I am negative. I am negative
Damn,
15. They've given me nothing to be confident about in them.
damn. I was gonna give
All
it a
right, let
3.
me not be irrational. The market, the markets, how the markets work is you get your business in the middle. You get your business in the beginning when the market opens. The middle is always quiet because people are trying to retool, figure themselves out. People are trying to replace and all that, and then you do business at the end, right? However, in January, business at the end is a very, very, very tricky preposition
And it's scary as
because
a fan.
you're limiting yourself because there's cup ties. There's cup. Oh shit! I didn't even realize that
Minor,
happens.
man.
There's cup ties, right? The players are cup tied.
Oh, we already signed the goalkeeper that's cup tied, man. I think we're past caring about that now.
Neto, yeah. Players, they need to replace the player. The club will need to replace the player. And this is January, and it's tighter. People aren't willing to sell. If you factoring in those, and if you actually want to buy in January because of those two factors and other factors, other uncontrollable factors, you got to start paying a premium. Guess who clearly stated that they aren't in the business of even considering paying a
All
premium,
them
even there's
journalists,
a
man.
needs. It didn't meet our valuation. We looked at our valuation and it didn't meet it. And what the fuck is this valuation? I want to see this freaking framework because it's valuation is subjective. It's subjective. There's no actual this is this, this is that.
And
So
then we
I
say
actually want to
that, and then
see.
we overspend on players that are not necessarily difference makers. So
Tell me
it doesn't make
how.
sense.
Tell me how Alexandra Isaac, right, in a strikers market where Hoyland with 2 3 goals, 2 3 goals will cost you 75 or 70, what was it, 72 million euros. That's the strikers market. Tell me how in the strikers market where a guy scoring 2 goals, Darwin Nunes, granted he came in and scored two massive, massive, massive goals for their result and all that. But that motherfucker's an $18 million striker. He has not scored more. He scored less than Gabriel. He scored less than a center back. Tell me how in that sort of market you go with your what's your school? You don't have Harvard. Your London School of Economics, your London School of Economics analyst, your nerd. You go and he does his little models, he types up on his paper, and ting ting ting. Alexandra Isaac at 80 million does not meet the valuation. Come on, man. This club is so unserious, Deluded. They are so unserious, man. It's crazy.
So I let people know they can find you, man. Hopefully, the next time we speak, you're a lot more positive, and myself the
Sorry,
same.
people. I needed that. I needed just to
Preaching,
get
man.
this
Now
out
it's
of my
calm. You're
system, man.
preaching, man. Like I was thinking, he's preaching, he's preaching, he's preaching. I just didn't want to do ad libs.
It's so annoying, but at the midget Zimbo on TikTok.
Oh,
Wow, we're
madman.
back. We're back, by the way. We're back. TikTok, we're back. TikTok, Instagram, and X. But bro, I just hope. I mean, I guess we got the Champions League. That's literally all I'm telling myself. That's the point I've got where I just compartmentalize it. I'm like, all right, this is a completely different competition.
I live in 100% hope, maybe delusion, but then when I look at reality, it doesn't tell me that those major trophies are landing, my guy, man. But like you said, we
It's
can hope.
tough.
It's like we can hope. Hopefully, the next time I get Zims here, man, we could do our thing again. Come on, my dude, man.
My
Like Zar,
bro.
midget Zimbo. Make sure you're following him on TikTok. Again, hopefully the season looks better. People, right now it's clouded. As much as me and obviously Zar sound a bit pessimistic, you lot might be disagreeing. So let us know in the comments. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, follow Zar on the socials. Peace out, everyone, man. Safe,
There it
Zar,
is.
as
Take it
usual.
easy, my bro.
Nah,
Take it
big up
easy.
you for
Enjoy
always being
myself.
here, man.
Nah,
It's
listen, I
mad
got time
before I
for you,
go,
Deluded.
yeah.
You're my guy.
No, before I go, it's mad because I'm not necessarily more positive from speaking to you, but it's like a therapy session. I like to know I'm not crazy, and it's nice to hear someone else's thoughts,
Yeah,
man.
no, trust me. I feel the same way. That's why I went off. That's why I was like, I just need someone who understands where I'm coming
Someone to
from,
listen.
just to let go. Because if I try, bro, we're in the midst of the busy season of the NFL and college football thing. Everyone is in American football brain here. If I come and then if I start ranting on the train, they might deport my ass, thinking that I'm crazy.
And on that note, people, peace, man. You're a madman, so.
Take it easy.